Let's talk about Brendan Fraser in The Whale. The Whale is based on a play. It is directed by Darren Aronofsky. It takes place entirely in the apartment of a very large man. And
Obese would be the right word.
what's that?
Obese
Obese.
would be
A very obese man who is a school teacher who teaches literature over Zoom. He's teaching writing as a college course over Zoom. He is kind of, I don't want to say obsessed, but he is taken with the novel Moby Dick. He is gay, and he has had a falling out with his daughter and is trying to reconcile with her because he is so obese, he's in danger of losing his life. I mean, he's danger of having a medical incident that will end his life. And he wants to use the time that he has to reconcile with his daughter. He cheated on mom with a man, so and that relationship went awry. That's the setup for The Whale. But what this is all about Brendan Fraser's performance. I will say, a warning: the opening scene of the movie. I'm only going to say this because it's the opening scene, because there are a lot of things that are grotesque in the film. The way he consumes food, certain sounds, you can practically smell the apartment that he's living in, or the little place he's living in. He has a caretaker that checks in on him, that is a friend, that's a close friend. He also befriends a person who is preaching the gospel, that is coming from a church and trying to save him and help him. These are the people that he interacts with that kind of enter his life, but we never leave this apartment. So if you get feelings of being claustrophobic watching the movie, that would explain it. But the movie is grotesque, not just because of the way he looks. I mean, he's very obese, where he's, the fat is kind of rolling off of him. You see how difficult it is for him to move. He has a walker. He eventually gets a wheelchair, and just simple tasks like picking something up off the floor prove difficult, where he has like this, it's like a device that you can grab items with, so you can get them quickly. And this movie is really difficult to watch. And I'm not even telling you that this is an Oscar bait film. It's really all about Brendan Fraser's performance. And how could you feel sorry for a guy that would allow himself to reach this state where he cares so little about his life? The thing that, and the opening scene I was going to talk about. Should I?
Should you spoil it?
Well, it's the opening scene of the movie. It's shocking.
I know.
It involves gay pornography and masturbation. Let's just say that. And I don't. It's all I'm saying is that there are just, like, you see where he's gotten to. He cares so little about himself at this point. He's just allowed himself to get to this state. He doesn't care about himself. But what he does care about is about what the heart of the story is reconciling his relationship with his daughter. So, and I do have to say something. I did see this movie with my daughter, and it really affected her. I mean, she was in tears at the end of the movie. The end of the movie is just will rip your heart out. Having said all of this, I mean, I just know it affected her. We had a conversation after, and it really, like, him being the heart of this thing is he's this teacher of literature, and he's like, the weird thing about this guy, this is how I could relate to Brendan Fraser's character. He's incredibly positive in light of his predicament, and he cannot find a way to stop himself and his just impending doom. I mean, his cholesterol, his level, his blood pressure, like, he is at a state where you will have cardiac arrest and your life will be over. And he doesn't care about it, and doesn't even care to do anything to stop it. But what he does care about is reconciling with his daughter, and he sees positivity in everything. He sees positivity in every person who comes along. He is friendly to the guy who delivers him pizza, who we never actually see. He sees sees everything in a positive light. He sees, even though his daughter is this negative, cruel, mean, she's posting things on Facebook about her dad and like how disgusted she is by him. She's never nice to him. She's so cruel, and he only sees good in her. And he sees good in her. And I don't want to spoil it. There's a payoff. The beginning and the end connect perfectly. Perfectly. And it is it's a father-daughter story, and it really did rip my heart out at the end. And so having said that, it's hard it's hard for me to actually recommend this movie, because people like Eric Weber are going to look at it and say, that's disgusting. Eric gave it a 1 out of 10, said it was the worst movie of the year. It's definitely not. But what was in the film didn't resonate with him. It resonated with me, but this is not a broad appeal movie. This is about Brendan Fraser's performance. The screening, I won't say was packed, but it was probably more than 2/3 full, and got a big round of applause at the end. At the and I mean, paid people to see it, not a critic screening. People paid to see it on Thursday. So I don't know if I can solidly recommend this. This movie is not for everybody. If you want to go through an experience that will rip your heart out, that will destroy you, that will disgust you, that also might move you, then you should see The Whale. This is also a movie I don't think I can see more than once. I felt that way about a lot of Oscar films. I'll see and I'll say, that is the one time I'm seeing that movie, and that's it. I'm sure I'll think of a lot like that, but it's just such an experience. And so there you go. It's a mixed recommend, meaning you should be warned before you see this film. And but I will say that a lot of it is very relatable. You know, he had an affair with a student, which ended up becoming his male lover, and then you know, I don't want to go too much into it.
Yeah.
All I want to say is that a lot of the things are they're all human things, right? And the tragic place he finds himself, near death's door, and then looking for some sort of reconciliation with his daughter is just very, very moving. Alan, what did you think of The Whale? And
Yeah,
Fraser's performance.
I'm mixed like you. What I like about this movie, and it does something that I wish all movies did, and I've mentioned this before, but this movie has a way to connect with people. You know, there's something relatable about him. I find myself relating to a lot of the side characters as well. You know, his caretaker who is angry because he's killing himself and he won't do anything about it. In fact, he's actively trying to kill himself through his overeating. And so the best thing I can say about this movie is that it's going to resonate with people. It's not going to resonate with a large audience. I don't think there's that broad public appeal that the movie has. But you know, if you've ever struggled with addiction, if you've ever struggled with you know, just trying to be accepted in life, you know, if you've ever struggled with, you know, trying to make your mistakes of the past right, this movie, you're going to connect with that aspect of this movie. You know, he's obese for a reason, you know, and this movie ultimately at the end becomes this redemption story for Brendan Fraser's character, which I like, and I, you know, these are the things I want to see in movies. But at the same time, this is based on a play which I've never seen, and I think the problem with this movie is it's, you know, it's condensing a 4-hour play into I think just a little over an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours, and so things feel rushed, and I don't think, you know, the storyline with the daughter, a lot of these side storylines I don't feel like are resolved in the right way, because the movie just needed to end, and so I think they're trying to take some shortcuts, and that's really my problem with the movie, is that it feels incomplete by the end, and when you get to the final resolution and everything, I just don't. I felt like it needed more time to get to that point than this movie did, and so it's not a perfect movie. I think again, I think I think people who are struggling in life will connect with this movie. So yeah, mixed recommendation. It's not for everybody, but I can understand why your daughter has such a strong reaction to the movie, and I can understand why a lot of people have a strong reaction to this movie, and I can also understand why Eric Weber hates this movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like I understand like this movie is really kind of a um you know it's sort of like you're either going to find something in it that you're going to relate to or not. The fact of him being gay is sort of a minor, it's
Mhm.
not really a big, it's not a huge part of the movie.
Yeah,
um
but I mean, it plays into the religion aspect of the film,
yes.
which I appreciated as well.
Yeah, yeah. You don't see a lot of religion in any movies
Mhm.
anymore.
Yeah.
So I really liked his character and his character arc. What would you call his character? Um,
Oh, the door to door evangelist,
the
basically.
door-to-door evangelist.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, it plays into a lot of the stereotypes that evangelicals and Christians have received in Hollywood. But at
right,
the same time, I know people like this. I absolutely know people like this.
right. So there you go. Let's
Yeah,
go
but
to
I'll just last thing, Brendan
sure, please.
Fraser, he will get the nomination, best actor nomination. Whether he'll win it is another thing, but it's a very good performance.
It's a great performance. I mean, it is like makeup and digital effects. It's a
Mhm.
combination to pull off the performance.
Yeah,
But I will say, like this movie should come with a warning. It's very the thing is, it's just some parts of it are just revolting.
yeah. Well, I mean, I think that's the being able to relate to it aspect of it. This is they're really trying to make a point with the revolting aspect of his behavior.
Yeah, and I will say I love the payoff with him being a teacher. He is a
Mhm.
teacher over Zoom, which is sort of a comment on how we relate to each other now, so much over devices. Like, you know, Alan and I right now,
Mhm.
we're all in different places. We're talking to each other. We're talking to you in the chat. So, yeah, the whale, it's rough, and if you're emotionally ready for a journey like that, I would say go on it, but also understand why you would not like it after you've seen it, and or just uh, it's a rough film. Great performance by Brendan
Yeah.
Fraser.
I think Eric, when he talks about it, he's coming at it from a broad public appeal that this movie won't have. And
Yeah,
I think that drives a lot of his thinking about what makes a good and a bad movie. Um, and I can't necessarily argue with his thinking about it.
okay, let's go to the chat. So a mixed recommendation on the whale. Just be warned when you're going in.